I'm divorcing you because she's pregnant. My husband, Richard said, his cold eyes boring into me. Beside him stood his mistress, smirking with a nasty gleam in her eyes.
Hurry up and get divorced, you barren old lady,
she said with a full, gloating smile, to which I responded with a smile of my own.
No way.
I'm not getting divorced.
What?
Because, I said, showing them both something. My name is Sarah. I'm a 31-year-old part-time housewife. I've been married to my husband, Richard, for 6 years, but we still don't have children. We've been undergoing fertility treatments, but the results haven't been positive. Every month, when the results come back negative, I can't help but feel like life itself is a gift from above. Lately, my motivation for treatment has been waning. This is partly because our marriage has grown colder without children. I still want to try hard for a baby.
Another failure? Isn't this just a waste of money?
But Richard responds with, such reactions make it hard to keep up my spirit. I'm starting to think we should move on to in vitro fertilization. It's more likely to succeed, and more importantly, I wouldn't need to have intimate relations with Richard, who has become so cold. I need his cooperation, though, and it depends on my ability to convince him. Honestly, I'm not sure if I even want a child with the current him. But if we did have a child, maybe he would become the kind him he used to be. Maybe we could be a happy couple again. This slight hope is what keeps me going. However, timing is crucial. Lately, even when I tell Richard that it's the right time, give me a break.
I've been working overtime and I'm exhausted. Even if we get the timing right, it'll just fail again.
Stop wasting my time. He responds coldly. If timing isn't possible, maybe in vitro fertilization is the way to go. I ponder over the bank account statements. There are grants available, but it's not completely free. If I keep working, we might be able to afford it, but if it fails once, doing it a second or third time would be tough. I can't quit my job, but I'd like to be able to rest.
It's all so difficult.
I look up at the sky, lamenting the challenges of trying to conceive without his support. Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, the worst happened.
I'm going on a solo assignment. What?
The sudden declaration left me momentarily speechless.
A solo assignment? Why?
I got the order. The branch lost a lot of staff suddenly, and they're short-handed. They can't send a rookie, and families with kids don't want to go, so it's my turn. We're childless, so it's easier for us. But we were planning to have a child.
How many years have we been doing this? We've tried so long with no success. We can't have children, just accept it.
That's not fair.
It's not my fault. It's your problem.
His words cut deep. Yes, Richard had gotten tested. The results showed he was fine. The problem lay with me. But that doesn't justify his harsh words. I've been doing my best, enduring injections and hospital visits every month. I've felt ill at times, but I kept working and trying.
Trying doesn't mean anything if it doesn't work.
His cruel words made me burst into tears. Women always think they can get their way by crying. Anyway, you have your job, so I'll go alone. So you're saying I can't come with you?
Are you going to quit your job?
I find myself at a loss for words. Quitting my job to follow him is one option. But I don't know if I'll be able to find a job that pays the same salary as my current full-time position in a new place. And if we need to continue fertility treatments there, it means starting all over again at a new clinic. Just thinking about it leaves me speechless. I'm going to start preparing from tomorrow. Richard takes one look at my silent face and retreats to his room. In the end, I decide not to go with him. Richard's solo assignment is confirmed, and after a while, he leaves home. After we start living apart, I begin visiting him on weekends. Richard lives in a company-provided corporate housing. When I get there, he doesn't particularly welcome me.
Take care of this laundry.
He hands me a week's worth of dirty clothes. Just washing and drying them takes up all my time. While the washing machine runs, I clean up the room, and before I know it, the day is over. Meanwhile, Richard just lounges around, playing with his phone. Even though I'm in a new place, we don't go out together at all. All right, I'll see you next week, housekeeper. That's how it goes. It's no wonder I feel a sense of emptiness in my heart. What are we even married for? A few months later, I receive a message from him during the week.
You don't have to come every weekend. Once a month is enough,
says.
What?
I am surprised, but it seems like work is keeping him busy. Does that mean my visits are a bother? The emptiness turns into sadness. We might really never have kids. I don't know when Richard's solo assignment will end. Even if he comes back, our relationship might be completely broken by then. I let out a deep sigh. One day, about a year after Richard's assignment began, I visit his place after a month-long interval. As soon as I step in, I sense something is off. You've cleaned up quite a bit.
Well, living alone for a year teaches you how to do that.
Richard responds, but I understand. This is a woman's intuition. Looking around the room, everything seems too neatly organized. There are more hangers than usual, despite nothing being hung up. A new cup in the bathroom that wasn't there before. A pristine white face towel. But most of all, the kitchen feels off. Despite never cooking, there are pots, pans, and all kinds of cooking utensils.
Have you started cooking?
I ask. Well, yeah, kind of. He gives a half-hearted reply.
Then why don't you show me what you've made?
I suggest.
Why should I do something that tiring on my day off?
He looks annoyed. Richard's behavior is too suspicious to ignore.
Then let me make something.
As I reach for the fridge.
Don't open it.
He slams it shut right in front of me. The sudden loud noise startles me.
Just because we're married doesn't mean you can invade my privacy.
Sorry. I apologize instinctively, but Richard's anger only grows, his face turning red.
That's it, don't come here anymore. You just do unnecessary things, and honestly, you're annoying. What? Don't come back until I say you can. Wait, Richard! Get out!
Richard pushed me out forcefully, even though it had only been an hour since I arrived. I stood there, stunned, in front of the coldly closed door. But, is that so? I didn't want to just walk away. Even if we couldn't have kids, I wanted to get back to being the loving couple we once were. So what should I do? It's too early to give up. I decided to try and win him back with his favorite things. Call it desperate if you want, but I am desperate. We once loved each other and promised to spend our lives together. I can't let it end like this. I opened my map app on my phone and visited a few local stores to buy Richard's favorite things. With those in hand, maybe this will cheer him up. I hummed as I headed back to the corporate housing. But as I approached Richard's apartment on the second floor, I saw someone at his door. It was a woman who looked to be in her 20s. I wondered if she was a resident or a relative, but then she stopped in front of his door. The next moment, Richard opened the door and looked out.
What?
I was shocked as I watched the two of them chat intimately before the woman went inside. And Richard followed her in, of course.
What is going on?
I couldn't waste time thinking about it. I had clearly caught him in the act of cheating. I could have barged in right then, but I was too stunned and ended up going home in a daze. For days, I couldn't focus at work and kept making mistakes. My mind was filled with the scene I had witnessed outside Richard's apartment. I found myself crying unexpectedly and left work early. Even at home, I couldn't do anything or think straight, and the tears wouldn't stop. This is too much, I thought as I headed to Richard's apartment. It was filled with Richard's belongings, left as they were. These two. They were so important. Does he not need them anymore? Was he planning on never coming back home? Was he serious about that woman? Quietly, I looked at the room.
Don't ever look.
Richard had forbidden me to enter. Blowing my nose, I started going through the unopened boxes. Maybe he had kept some of our mementos safe. If so, it might give me the strength to keep trying. Richard's room was full of boxes. I opened them one by one. What? And the words that came out of my mouth were, a few days later, Richard contacted me. I have something to tell you. Come over next weekend. Despite his rude message, I wasn't angry. Instead, I smiled wryly. That weekend, I went to Richard's apartment and understood immediately upon opening the door. There were women's shoes at the entrance. Inside, Richard and the woman were sitting together. It was the same woman I'd seen before.
Hey! What's with the big bag?
I thought you might need it. Richard was surprised by the large suitcase, as if I were going on an international trip. When I shrugged and answered, he just said, "Humph," disinterestedly.
Let's cut to the chase. I'm divorcing you, Sarah.
Why? I had expected it, but it was so blunt. Raising an eyebrow at my wry smile.
She's pregnant,
Richard said.
Pregnant, huh? Well, congratulations.
So, I'm divorcing you, who can't have children. I feel so relieved to finally be free from you, Richard said, and the woman beside him gave me.
Get a divorce quickly, you infertile old lady.
A nasty smile. I responded with a sly smile, exploding with youthful energy.
No way. I'm not getting divorced. What?
In a high-pitched tone, I said.
No way.
Richard and his mistress were shocked and wide-eyed.
Why are you saying it so happily? Are you crazy because Richard is leaving you?
Despite the mistress's rude comment, I kept my sly smile.
Well, I think I'm probably the only person in the world who wants to stay married to this husband. What?
Richard and the mistress tilted their heads in confusion, and I pulled something out of the big bag I brought.
Look at this, a beautiful dress,
I said, taking out a very flashy, bright red dress. It's so decorated with sequins and lace that it would be too flashy even for a wedding nowadays, dazzling and heavy. Seeing that, the mistress said.
Huh? What's so great about that overly flashy, tacky dress?
Just as she started to speak.
Oh wow!
Richard's scream echoed through the room. Sarah, where on earth did you get that?
From your storage at home. You went through my stuff. Well, Richard, you've been away on your business trip for over a year. If you had something important in there, I thought I should keep it properly or it might get moldy. But you didn't ask for my permission. Good thing I checked. This dress was fine, but some items had mold. What?
More shocked by the mold than by me seeing his stuff, Richard shouted even louder. He was tearing up. Hey, Richard. At that moment, the mistress called out to Richard. She asked, looking confused.
What's going on? Why is there such a dress in your room? And if what she said is true, there are several dresses. Why? Well, haha. I thought Nancy would look good in them.
The mistress's name was Nancy. She squinted her eyes suspiciously.
Huh? You know I hate overly flashy clothes. I've told you many times that I like calm colors and designs. Did you? Don't did you me. What the hell is this?
Nancy said irritably, not understanding, so I decided to explain for the unresponsive Richard.
Nancy, these are all Richard's personal belongings. I brought a few other dresses that were fine.
Saying that, I took out more dresses from the big bag one after another. All of them were very flashy.
Stop it, please.
Richard was panicking, while Nancy looked fed up.
What is this? Richard, your taste is awful. I would never wear this. Not even for our daughter. What? I don't care if you wear them, it's a waste. What?
I cherish wearing these. They started arguing, and he slipped up. Not just an awe.
What did you just say?
Nancy asked, trembling.
Nothing.
He desperately tried to cover up. I understand you can't explain it well. So, I'll show clear evidence.
Richard treasures these. He even dresses up and takes photos in them. What?
Surprised, Nancy saw the secret photos of Richard the first showed. In them, Richard was wearing these dresses, with wigs and flashy makeup.
This is an invasion of privacy. It's okay, you don't have to hide it. Everyone has secret hobbies, after all. I won't go around telling anyone about this. Not even your parents or siblings. But I think it's something you should tell your wife.
When I said that, looking at Richard with a serious face, he fell silent, perhaps overwhelmed by my determination. I smiled.
Because if you don't take proper care of such an important dress, it will get eaten by bugs or mold. I've already told you, some pieces have already been ruined. If you had told me, I wouldn't have looked at you strangely. And I could have helped you take care of the house and the dress. It's bad because you tried to hide it.
Yes. Is that true?
It is true. After all, we are husband and wife.
When I said that with another smile, Richard stared at me in a daze. After a while, he seemed to understand everything, and his eyes gradually filled with tears. In the next moment, "Sarah, you are the best wife ever." He cried and hugged me tightly. "Okay, I get it, now let go, it's annoying."
Would you leave such an understanding wife? No. I would never leave you, Sarah.
It had more impact than I expected. I never thought that finding Richard's secret stash would have such a powerful effect. He probably couldn't tell anyone about his secret hobby until now. There are people who would look at him coldly, but saying that it's okay for women to dress up as men but not the other way around is strange. Recently, there's been more understanding for femboys, but societal prejudices are still hard to erase. It's a difficult issue, isn't it? But true hobbies are the ones you want to stick with, even if people look at you coldly. I get it, I really get it. Even in my 30s, I still follow the idol group I loved in high school. So, even though I thought it was a bit much, I patted Richard's crying head.
What the hell is this?
A voice shouted. When I looked, I saw Nancy with a red face.
What kind of hobby is that? I can't understand it at all. Throw it away right now. Or I won't marry you,
she said.
Did you hear that?
I said. Just now, he said he wouldn't leave me.
I don't care. I'm pregnant with his child. Do you intend to leave our child without a dad? I think that would be unfortunate for the child.
So I pulled Richard, who was still clinging to me and crying, away. He even had snot coming out, so for now, get away. Whether the child has a dad or not is not our concern.
What?
You should talk properly with the real dad of the child in your belly.
What?
Nancy exclaimed in shock at my words. Richard also stopped crying, looking surprised at me. Sarah, what does this mean? You didn't notice anything, did you, Richard? This woman Nancy has a real partner. The child in her belly is that person's child.
What?
Richard was completely surprised. I rummaged through the bag with the dresses and took out a large envelope.
I found out you were cheating, so I asked the proper authorities to investigate just in case.
When did you?
We don't live together, so I had plenty of time to act.
What are you talking about? I said, pulling out the investigation results from the envelope. It's been confirmed that you two are superior and subordinate in the same company. Also, it's been confirmed that Nancy has had a relationship with her former superior.
What?
In utter disbelief, Richard looked at Nancy. Her face was pale.
A sudden shortage of personnel, so you were sent alone? Well, to be precise, due to inappropriate conduct within the company, the former superior was transferred to a rural area. What the hell?
The company probably didn't want it to go public. They only transferred the married ex-boss and kept single Nancy. It's ridiculous.
Nancy, is that true?
By the way, they're still seeing each other. The ex-boss hasn't divorced his wife, but since she's been cold to him, he's been meeting Nancy even more often. Even though they're in a long-distance relationship, they seem pretty close.
What?
Richard was too shocked to say anything more.
But even so, the ex-boss claims he loves his wife and won't divorce her. His wife is also stubbornly refusing to divorce. So Nancy can't take him away. That's why you were chosen, Richard.
Me? Richard, you fell for her temptation so easily, didn't you? Ugh. His lack of rebuttal was answer enough for my question.
Our relationship was cold, but that doesn't excuse your behavior.
I'm sorry. Ignoring the slumped Richard, I turned to Nancy.
Do you have any rebuttal or explanation?
Her silence spoke volumes.
You can claim it's Richard's child all you want, but the timing and frequency of your meetings don't add up. Besides, a paternity test will quickly reveal the truth.
With a smug smile, I said. Nancy stood up abruptly.
I don't want a man who gives me those looks just because I flirted a little.
Leaving behind such a trite line, Nancy walked out. I can't believe this. I'm exhausted. What a waste of money. Looking at the scattered investigation results, I sighed.
Thank you, Sarah.
At that moment, Richard spoke to me. He smiled gently at me.
Thank you for understanding my hobbies. Really, thank you.
And then he continued.
Let's move forward together. I'll help more with having kids.
Oh, that's not necessary.
Huh?
Feeling a bit self-satisfied.
Look at me, saying something good.
He seemed to think, but I was totally done with it.
What? No, we're going to work things out, right? You said we wouldn't divorce.
I thought so too, but I can't stay married to someone who cheats just because we lived apart for a short while.
What? Sarah, are you kidding me?
Ah, there's a real you. You get angry as soon as things don't go your way. Ugh. I don't mind your hobbies. If you'd been honest, I might have even supported you. But it's too late.
Sarah? Wait a minute.
I won't wait. I'm moving forward alone. Sign the divorce papers immediately. I said, throwing the divorce papers at Richard and leaving the room.
Wait, please.
His cries no longer reached me. After negotiating through lawyers, our divorce was finalized without issue. Even without the pregnancy, Richard's cheating was undeniable. As the at-fault party, he had to pay a substantial settlement. In a lump sum, of course. He kept saying until the end,
You're the only one who understands my hobbies. I'll never find someone as wonderful as you, Sarah.
But I didn't care. As for Nancy, she was finally fired after multiple infidelities were discovered at work. The child she was carrying turned out to be the ex-boss's, leading to a big fight involving his wife. The ex-boss is likely to get divorced soon. But enraged that Nancy caused the breakup of his beloved marriage, he cut ties with her. With nowhere else to go, she showed up at Richard's place. However, he was demoted just like his former boss due to his disruption of company order. After paying a lump sum of alimony to me in the divorce case, he was completely broke, and with the demotion and pay cut, he became gaunt and weary. Living in a rundown apartment, Nancy left him. Apparently, she is now living uncomfortably with her parents, who are furious about her continuous infidelity. Oh, and I did sue Nancy for damages as well. It was a small amount, but it was a token act of revenge. Feeling satisfied after punishing Richard and Nancy, I moved out of my house and started living in a new apartment with a fresh mindset. Although it was an action born out of freedom, I don't want to think that not having children was a stroke of luck amid the misfortune. If we had had children, would our future have been different? But life does not have ifs. Learning from my failures and applying them to my future is what life is all about. Next time, even if it's just the two of us, I will be with someone I love and who loves me back. For that reason, I decided to work hard on both my job and personal life, focusing on improving myself. Unpleasant premonitions tend to be right. I felt the presence of someone who shouldn't be in the dusty room next to the storage used as my parents' home. I pressed my ear against the wall. The growling voices of a man and a woman. What they were doing was clear. The sound of my own heart echoed throughout my body. What are those two up to? Knowing that my daughter Luna and I are on the same property? I felt sick with disgust. I locked the room from the outside. The two of them were too engrossed to notice. My name is Zoe, I'm 37 years old. I live with my husband Owen and our preschooler, Luna. Starting today, we're spending 3 days at my parents' home, which is a 30-minute drive away. Normally, my parents and grandma live there, just the three of them. Recently, my parents won a travel voucher and decided to go on a trip for 2 nights and 3 days. Grandma can take care of herself despite having some trouble walking. I'll call you if I need the car, so it'll be just fine. That's what she said, but I wonder if 3 days alone wouldn't be lonely for her. Moreover, she's been becoming more forgetful and spacey lately, perhaps due to her age. Worried, I discussed it with Owen. Then he suggested, if you're so worried about your grandma, let's all stay over. All of us? It'll be good exercise for Luna to play, and it'll surely be fun with all the commotion. That might be nice. So we decided to spend 3 days with Grandma at my parents' home. The day my parents left for their trip, Luna and I arrived at my parents' home to meet Grandma. Owen would come after work. At the entrance, I said, "Hello." But Grandma didn't hear me because she's hard of hearing. Inside, she was drinking coffee. Luna greeted her. "Hello, Grandma." "Who's there?" "It's Luna." Luna." Then, looking at me, "Who's there?" she again asked. It might be the onset of dementia, not just forgetfulness. "It's me, Zoe. We'll be staying from today." Yes, I understand. Coming here was the right decision. Leaving her alone would have been worrisome. Since giving birth to Luna, we've occasionally visited my parents' home but never stayed over. Due to concerns about infections, we've been cautious about interactions between infants and the elderly. Though it's not entirely safe now, I don't think there's a need to be overly fearful. My parents' home is a large, old house in the countryside. With a big yard, the main house, a garden, and a small house next door. The small house next to it used to contain my and my siblings' rooms. Now, it's used as storage for farming tools, my brother's hobbies and collections, old study desks, and broken appliances, basically a collection of let's just put it here for now. They should just get rid of it all. It's a common story in my parents' home. Mom, what's over there? Luna asked, wanting to go to the small house next door. You can't play there, Luna. Why not? It's dangerous, and there might be ghosts. Ghosts? Luna shrank back. It's an effective way to convince children, after all. Really? I felt a bit guilty under her earnest gaze, but Grandma backed me up. It's true, Luna. Really? There are ghosts? Yes. I'm scared, Grandma. It was surprising that Grandma played along, but it seemed to have completely convinced her. I don't want Luna going near the small house. It hasn't been cleaned in a while, so the air isn't good, and it's an old building, so various things get in. Drafts, bugs, and such. Also, many of my brother's belongings are still there. He was into fixing bikes, so parts and tools are scattered everywhere. It's dirty and dangerous to touch. He also has adult magazines lying around haphazardly, which he claims are too valuable to dispose of because they're out of print. He should keep them with him if they're that precious. The front door opened, and a cheerful voice said, "It's been a while." It was my sister Chloe. Chloe is single and works nights, so it's been a while since we last saw each other. Chloe, what brings you here? What's wrong with coming back to my parents' home? You don't usually come. I heard you were staying over, so I came too. Who told you? I ran into Owen by chance and he told me. Chloe is a free spirit. Even at 40, she hasn't settled into a steady job, juggling gigs at pubs and working as an event companion. She loves herself dearly, boasts about the many men who support her, and never stops talking about her conquests. It's her life, and I think she should live it as she pleases, but every time she shows her face to our parents, they worry, and it seems to annoy her. I'll be staying for a while too. That's okay with you, Grandma? Oh, who's this? Grandma asked, looking at Chloe. Is it forgetfulness, or is it because Chloe's makeup is so heavy? Hey, it's me. Chloe. Oh, Chloe. Of course, you can stay. You're more than welcome. I'm not thrilled about the idea of Luna spending time with sharp-tongued Chloe, but if Grandma says it's okay, then I suppose there's no helping it. Luna's still young, so try not to be too loud, okay? I know that. I'll just lie down a bit, so take your time doing all the chores. Chloe said to me, then promptly laid down. What? What does that even mean? Am I expected to take care of Chloe too? She's bold, coming here to relax with impunity just because our no-nonsense parents are away. What a sly woman. For dinner, I'd like some gratin. Chloe, if you're going to make requests, at least help out. My nails are too long, I can't. Really, Chloe, at your age, with such long nails? Then Luna, staring at Chloe's nails, said, Is Chloe a witch? What? My nails are cute, right? You better say they're cute, or I'll scratch you with my witch's nails. I'm disappointed in my sister's childish behavior. When the gratin Chloe requested was ready, Owen came home from work. It looked like a party scene, everyone enjoying themselves. Chloe and Owen, who hadn't seen each other since our wedding, got along well, both enjoying their drinks. It was a lively dinner. Grandma seemed happy the entire time. Owen got quite drunk and merry. Hey, Owen. Don't drink too much. I cautioned, concerned, but Chloe cut in. Let him be. You're such a miser, Zoe. If you keep up with Chloe, you'll be smashed. Quiet, Zoe. Owen, here. Drink up. Cheers. He was already plastered. This spells a hangover for sure. I can't deal with two drunkards. I've warned them, the rest is on them. Luna and I took showers and went to bed in Grandma's room at the usual time. The next morning, as expected, the two were asleep in the living room. The room was filled with the smell of alcohol. Not a thing cleaned up. Not that I was expecting any different. Thank goodness it's a holiday today, I said in an exasperated voice. I told you so. What are you two doing? Hearing this, Owen sprang up.
Where am I?
At my parents' home. Forgot? My head hurts. You drink too much. Why not take a shower? Owen groaned his way to the bathroom, while Chloe didn't budge at all. She seemed to be sleeping comfortably, but I needed her to wake up. Chloe, it's morning. I tried to wake her, but she seemed lost in a dream.
Hey, no, not that.
Can you not make that disgusting sound?
Huh? Zoe? Oh, it's just you, Zoe.
She laughed, sounding pleased. Seems she still has alcohol in her system.
Hey Zoe, Owen's a great guy, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Kind and a good person. They seem to have gotten quite close after drinking together.
I'm looking forward to tonight.
Huh? You're drinking alone tonight? No way. I want to drink with Owen.
Chloe, you always drink too much. Not my problem if you get sick.
Huh? You're such a bore. Don't blame me if Owen leaves you. Don't worry about it. I decided to leave Chloe to her second sleep. She's really selfish. After breakfast, I cleaned up and went to tidy the garden with Grandma. It's a nice, relaxing holiday. Luna came up to me, playing around the house.
Mom, there's an animal inside the house.
Really?
This way.
Luna led me, and we approached the small house next door. Luna, I told you, the small house is off limits because it might have ghosts.
Sorry, but I heard an animal's voice.
She must have gotten close while playing. Nostalgia mixed with an unpleasant premonition. I'll check for ghosts, so go to Grandma. Okay, got it. Luna ran back. Now, I'll figure out what this unpleasant premonition is all about. From inside the room, there's a presence of someone. I can hear voices, though not clearly. There are sounds of movement. I quietly entered the room that once was mine. The moment I entered the dusty room that had become a storeroom, I understood the situation. In the next room, which used to be my brother's room, Owen and Chloe were there. Noises like a beast groaning. What they were doing was clear. I felt my blood run cold and immediately stepped outside the room. The sound of my own heartbeat echoed throughout my body. Blood rushed to my head. What on earth are those two doing? Do they understand their relationship? Even though Luna and I are on the same property, what nerve? I felt nauseated with disgust. I wanted to knock on the door right away, but I decided to stay calm. I locked the door from the outside. The only room with a lock added later by parents who wanted to stop my brother from sneaking out with his motorcycle at night. A simple mechanism, just a catch and a turn of the knob. The two of them, lost in their world, didn't notice. There's a window in my brother's room, but outside is a high fence. Escape is impossible. In other words, I've trapped them inside. When I returned home, Luna asked with concern.
Mom, is there a ghost over there?
Yes, Luna. Never go near it, okay?
I thought it was an animal.
Hearing this, Grandma prayed towards the sky. So, it has appeared, as expected. The spirit of an animal. Surprised, I asked. What do you mean by as expected? Grandma started talking with a solemn face. 2 years ago, a family of raccoons settled in the small house next door. We had to drive them away because it would be trouble if they increased. It's their curse. Wasn't that unavoidable? I've always been concerned. I can't forget the resentful eyes of the raccoons as they ran away. Grandma. I don't know if raccoons have such power, but Grandma's eyes were not joking.
Ghost, be gone! Grandma, I'm scared.
It's okay. I'll get rid of it right away. Grandma stood up, her eyes sharp, and said, Zoe, get something long. What? What could possibly be long enough to exorcise a ghost? Anyway, I looked for something suitable and handed her a long broom.
We'll make the raccoon leave.
Grandma, who was supposed to have trouble walking, ran briskly towards the small house next door. Grandma, it's dangerous.
Don't stop me. Here we go.
Thinking it would be terrible if the two inside got to know what was happening next door, I also ran after her quickly. The door to my brother's room shook, and from inside,
Is someone there? Open up,
came the voice. Due to the alcohol or too much fun, Chloe's voice was hoarse. Luna screamed in terror and hid behind me. Grandma raised the broom.
What's this?
It speaks?
Damn raccoon.
Grandma believed without a doubt it was a raccoon. With the broom ready, she attempted to open the door. I panicked. Inside was a scene I definitely didn't want Grandma and Luna to see.
It's dangerous, don't open it.
Grandma, the raccoon will feel sorry. It might attack us suddenly. Indeed, that's true. We calmed down the excited Grandma. Meanwhile, from inside the room,
Open up, hurry.
the voices continued. Realizing it was only a matter of time before they discovered who was inside, I told Grandma. We can't handle this. Let's get a medium or a professional exorcist to cleanse it. Yes, that's a good idea. Let's go look for one right away. To ensure they can't escape, let's do this. Grandma hooked the broom on the door. Even if the lock is opened, the door won't move. Let's go. We quickly got ready and got into the car. But really, where should we go? Despite saying it myself, what exactly is a professional exorcist? Knowing what's inside the room, we can't really have it cleansed. Driving for a while and checking on Grandma through the rearview mirror, she seems about to fall asleep from exhaustion. Grandma, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Where should we head to?
I'm hungry, let's eat something.
What? Is that okay? What is? Grandma looked bewildered. She seems to have forgotten. I'm hungry too, Mom. Luna also said this. Then, I'll forget too. Forget about the affair of the two in the small house next door, forget that I locked them in. It was a raccoon. Yes, a ghost raccoon. It's better if it doesn't exist, and since they can't escape as is, it's fine to leave them and forget. We enjoyed our meal slowly at a restaurant, did some shopping, watched a movie since we were at it, and it was sunset when we returned home. Grandma had completely forgotten about the ghost, and she seemed content. Mom, there are lots of police cars in front of our house. Just as Luna said, there were several patrol cars, police officers, and neighbors gathered around our house. What on earth did those two do? I asked the police officer. What happened? Did something happen at our house? Grandma looked anxious too. The police officer started explaining. In the small house next to yours. Then, Grandma remembered. Right. The raccoon ghost. She remembered. Grandma was gearing up for battle again. But it seems that wasn't necessary. Owen and Chloe, being questioned, were visible. According to the police officer, they were climbing the fence. A neighbor thought they were burglars and called the police. They weren't climbing but, I guess, coming down. Who would have thought they'd try to escape through that window? I had Grandma and Luna go inside, and I stayed to talk with the police. We're not burglars, okay? Chloe, still assertive in this situation, was somehow enviable. I would be embarrassed. Contrastingly, Owen found me and gave me a wry smile while Chloe glared at the police officer. No, this is troubling. It turned into quite the scene. After saying that to me, he turned to the officer with an indifferent expression. So, no criminal case here, we're good, right? That nonchalant attitude irritated me. After all this commotion, you think we're just fine? Pretending it didn't happen? What? I confronted the confused two. Why did you climb the fence? We were locked in. Why? Why were you two in the small house next door? Well, that is. Owen immediately apologized. Forgive us. We were just playing around. Chloe grabbed him. Wait, it was you who hit on me, right? I didn't hit on you. Huh? If you're told to come stay at your parents' home, you'd think you're hit on, right? So, their relationship didn't start today. I thought Chloe had hit on him, but it turns out Owen did. I didn't say we should do it here. You got excited because of the indecent magazines there. No, you undressed first. Am I cold for feeling detached, even though I'm his wife, at such a time? It's more like I'm speechless, or rather, I don't want to be involved. But I can't just ignore it. This is my husband and sister. You're both at fault. Disgusting. Don't you have any decency? Do you realize what you've done? It's not something humans do, more like animals in heat. I said with contempt. Chloe looked indignant. She clearly doesn't think she did anything wrong. Owen was sweating and looked disturbed. I was wrong. Don't come near me. Sorry for getting carried away. Chloe cut in. Owen, you were so happy saying I'm a better match for you than Zoe. That you can't have fun without me anymore. I didn't say that far. I said, please, go ahead. Do that forever. But listen to me. At that moment, Grandma, wearing a pot on her head, came running out of the house. Luna was with her. Prepare yourself, ghost. She seemed to have remembered. It's the perfect fighting stance. I understand the situation, but Chloe and Owen seemed too surprised to make a sound. Show your tail. As she said this, she lifted Owen's shirt to reveal painful claw marks on his back. Luna gasped in surprise. It's a witch. Witch's claws, Grandma. A witch. This person is definitely a witch. Luna pointed at Chloe. Grandma, trembling, said, a raccoon ghost and a witch, this is like a haunted house. Get out. Get out right now. The police officer cast a doubtful look at the two. The homeowner seems to be treating you like strangers, but are you really not burglars? No way. Not at all. I'm the daughter of this house. Right, Zoe? I looked at Chloe with a cold gaze and said, I don't know you. What? I don't have a family member who would go after someone's husband, and I forever want nothing to do with a husband who has been marked on the back. That's not. But since it would be troublesome if they settled in the small house next door and became evil spirits, they should leave through the proper channels. I'll proceed with the divorce papers and the claim for alimony through a lawyer. Goodbye. You're kidding, right? The two of them had faces I couldn't bear to look at, crying. No matter what they say, I won't forgive this betrayal. Grandma, don't worry. I've taken care of the ghost. The divorce I thought Owen would fuss over went smoothly. Because, as it turned out, Chloe was pregnant. This made me feel more dismayed than angry or frightened. Owen denied involvement, suggesting there could be other possible fathers, but Chloe said, planning to run away? The morning sickness. Oh, are you okay? Are you going to abandon me with morning sickness? You're definitely the dad. Take responsibility. Pressured by Chloe, the divorce and then remarriage happened. Even the parents, once they knew the situation, were furious. They disowned Chloe, telling her to do as she pleased. Who the child's father is, I couldn't care less about, but I never want to see those two faces again, and most importantly, I don't want them meeting Luna. Let's completely forget about such a nightmare. However, it didn't go that way. Chloe's pregnancy turned out to be a lie. More accurately, a misunderstanding, as the nausea she thought was morning sickness was due to liver damage from too much drinking, requiring detailed examination. Chloe, moved from the obstetrics and gynecology to the gastroenterology department, apparently lamented. Not being able to drink my beloved alcohol is just a waste of life. How unreasonable. A veteran nurse told her. You shouldn't be drinking alcohol in the first place if you're pregnant. Ashamed and enraged, she responded. I know that. But I want to drink. You'll end up spending your life in the hospital. No way! Will it be hospitalization or a directive to quit drinking? Maybe this will finally calm her down. It should serve as a moment to rethink her life. Owen, newly married to Chloe, has been frantically calling friends, looking for me and Luna. I was wrong. Please, let's start over. Leaving messages like that, but it's bothersome, so I wish he'd stop. After losing a wife and child, he's on the verge of losing friends too. Next time, without cheating, I hope he and Chloe support each other and find happiness. The small house next to the parents' home was cleansed, demolished, and a new house was built. The house for me and Luna to live in. Originally, it was something the parents had planned for us. So, it's a bit big for just the two of us. Life is long, so someone else might end up living there. To ensure no raccoons get in, I'll make sure to lock up properly. Living with us, Grandma's forgetfulness has decreased. Luna prefers Grandma's room over the new house. With Grandma, I'm not scared even if ghosts appear. I remember Grandma and Luna's battle stance and laugh.